Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos are currently 4-2 on the season as I record this video, and they could easily be undefeated. In my opinion, they're one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL, and they don't get enough recognition. I want to start off with Vance Joseph and this defense. He has been a phenomenal defensive coordinator with this organization. Now, for the ones that don't know, he's a former head coach with the Broncos that could never figure out the quarterback situation. At that point in time, they were just rolling the dice at the QB position. And that's been the case over the last few years with Denver, but those days are long gone, hopefully, with Bo Nix. But Vance Joseph, in his career, he's always been a very good defensive mind. But since he's come back to Denver, he has produced some of the best defenses that we've seen from this season and also from last season. Patrick Surtain is the best cornerback in football, and there's no argument. It's the reason why he won Defensive Player of the Year last season as a cornerback. In one-on-one situations and straight man, he is tremendous. He's the definition of a player that will shut down the number one wide receiver and just make him a non-factor for the entire game, and they move him around the field. Now, a lot of defensive coordinators, they hate to do that because it's a hat tip. They're going with man coverage. But Vance Joseph, he doesn't care. And they play a lot of zero coverage on the back end, a bunch of bomb blitzes to where they just send everyone, and the cornerbacks and the safeties is man on man. Now, that got them in trouble last year against the Cleveland Browns. That was a game against Jameis Winston. But Riley Moss is out in that matchup. But when he's been fully healthy, in this system with Vance Joseph, it is hard to get those deep plays across the middle of the field on this defense. And a lot of it, give the players their credit. But Vance Joseph is mixing in coverage, and he's going out there and running combo coverage. It'll be certain situations you think that his man coverage is actually zone. You think it's cover 2 is actually cover 3. And the way that these safeties can rotate over. Hufanga has been a very good safety in his career in the past with the San Francisco 49ers. He's just dealt with injuries. He comes over to the Denver Broncos. He's a top leader in tackles. And he's a very good playmaking safety in terms of taking the football away. He's been tremendous this season. Riley Moss had a very good game against the New York Jets. And I understand it's the New York Jets. They're a rebuilding team. Right now, they are the worst team in the NFL. But you look at Justin Fields. He's had some big time moments this season against the Steelers. A tough defense on paper. Went out there and had a close game with the Miami Dolphins. He comes over in Dublin. They play this team overseas. They made him look like a third string quarterback. They had negative 10 passing yards because of the sack yardage that Justin Fields took in that matchup. And we've seen Justin Fields go against different defenses in the past. They never made him look that bad. They took away the first and the second option over and over again. They forced him to read the field, and they constantly put pressure on him. And we've seen them do this with different quarterbacks in this league. This is the same defense that gave Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City problems last season. Let's not forget last season, it came down to a blocked field goal attempt. They go out there and they make that field goal. They would have been the first team last season to defeat Kansas City. And this defense is legit. This is not just a situation that we're just 6 games in. We have to just give them credit and give them more time to figure things out. No, this defense is ready to go out there and win playoff games right now. And we've seen them give elite quarterback problems before in the past. But Patrick Surtain, amazing. Hufanga, another great player to have on the back end of this defense. Brandon Jones, PJ Locke, 2 very good safeties in their own right. I mentioned Riley Moss, Jaquan McMillan. For multiple years now, he's been a very good cornerback inside the nickel cornerback position. And they spent a first-round pick on Jahdae Barron. It's just a matter of time before he gets things going coming out of Texas. And we all know that he can be a very good playmaking corner and a very good playmaking safety based off what he did at the college level. So they have a lot of depth on the back end of this defense. Like I mentioned, when Riley Moss went down last year, it was a huge hole there at that cornerback position. Let's knock on wood. If one of those players were to go down in the secondary, they have enough depth right now to basically run the same system. And this front 7 is disgusting with just a bunch of talent. They have a NASCAR package to where they just send everyone at the quarterback in Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers, Jonathan Cooper, Nick Bonito. Nick Bonito right now is on pace to win Defensive Player of the Year. 8 sacks on the season. He leads the league in sacks. He's on pace to break the sack record in the season. Is it going to happen? More than likely, when things like this start to come out this early on in the season, players do slow down. But if he can just continue to stay at this consistent rate, he's easily going to be a phenomenal pass rusher for the rest of this season. And he's been a very good pass rusher in the past in Denver. I mean, he has one of the best contracts in the NFL for the team. He's making a lot of good money, but when you compare it to Myles Garrett and TJ Watt and Max Crosby, they got this deal on a steal. John Franklin Myers had some bad moments early on in the year. The last couple of games, he has looked better. 3 sacks on the season. And Zach Allen has just been tremendous coming over from the Arizona Cardinals. He was here last year, but he was not known for being a guy in terms of going back there and getting to the quarterback on a consistent basis. Nick Bonito is getting so much coverage right now to where they're trying to go out there and double team and chip block him. Everyone else is in one-on-one situations. And we got to see Zach Allen last year have double-digit sacks, and he is still elite against the run. This is a defense that is second in total defense, third in passing defense, and sixth in rushing defense. And I expect for them to get better. Dre Greenlaw is on IR right now. Hasn't played many games with the Denver Broncos. And unfortunately, that's been the case with him over the last few years, even coming over from the San Francisco 49ers. Towards Achilles in the Super Bowl against Kansas City, running onto the field. But we know that Dre Greenlaw, when he's on the field, he's a very good linebacker. So they get him back into the fold. That'll be a very good situation for them. And you have Justin Schran. This defense doesn't have a weakness. They can stop the run from different angles. You run into the outside. They have the safeties that can come down like Hufanga and match up with that speed. You run the football up the middle. They have enough power up there with Zach Allen and the same of those linebackers that they can push you back. And if you're a quarterback, you like to move around. They're going to play contain coverage on the edges. They're going to press up those wide receivers. They're going to get physical. In today's game, it is very rare to play defense at this level. But they're playing defense like it's the 90s and the early 2000s. They're not hitting like that. But the way that they're able to stick with the wide receivers, the way they're able to stick with tight ends has just been tremendous to see. And I just want to give Vance Joseph his credit. He deserves it. And hopefully one day he becomes a head coach in this league once again. Now, with all that being said, all the great things about the defense here, I do have problems with this offense. Bo Nix has had some good moments this season. He's had some bad moments this season. And we got to see that last year in his rookie year. Early on, Bo Nix did not play particularly well, but as the season went on, he played better. And that's typical for a rookie quarterback. He didn't have the best weapons on the outside. But when you go against the Indianapolis Colts in this matchup, they had this game won. It came down to a couple missed throws by Bo Nix. We have to talk about that here. Had a couple missed throws that he'll like to have back. And that was the case last year. He needs to clean up that accuracy. But he got the kicker into field goal range. He missed the kick. The Indianapolis Colts late in the matchup. This was a long field goal. The kicker missed the first kick, but it's a penalty on the special teams. Leveraging. You can't have that. So they moved the kicker up closer. The Indianapolis Colts, they win this matchup 29-28. But the Broncos had this game. Just a couple of miscues on the offensive end, dumb penalties, some missed throws by Bo Nix, and that crucial penalty on special teams, and you win the matchup. You have to learn from that. And we know that Sean Payton, he was pissed off the way that he walked off the field. Heartbreaking loss for Denver, but you can learn from it. Against the Los Angeles Chargers, Bo Nix early on is looking very good. 14-25, 153 passing yards. It was a situation late in this game, late in the fourth quarter. Courtland Sutton is wide open for a touchdown, and he misses him by 5 yards. They have to punt the football off. The Los Angeles Chargers come out and they win this matchup 23-20, walk-off field goal yet again. They need Bo Nix to be more consistent, and they need this offensive line to stop having these dumb penalties, offsides, holding penalties. This offensive line, they're very good in terms of pass and run blocking. I will give them credit for that, but it's the dumb penalties, and we haven't seen a bunch of penalties on a Sean Payton coach team in a very long time. Dating back to his time with the New Orleans Saints, that was the one thing that he always got right. They did not have a bunch of penalties, and they did not have a bunch of situations where they were shooting themselves in the foot. And that's been the case here. And yet they're still winning football games against the New York Jets. They won this matchup. This was an ugly game for both teams on the offensive side. The New York Jets have one of the worst defenses in the NFL statistically against the run and against the pass, but it's a lot of talent there. They stepped up in this game. But Bo Nix and crew, they're able to drive the ball down the field whenever they get a big play. Holding on the offense. illegal motion, illegal shift. It's just the boneheaded plays with this offensive line. And even though I love Sean Payton as an offensive mind, in my opinion, he's one of the best offensive minds in league history from what I've seen. But you can't have this. Now, it's still early on in the season, but you could be undefeated if it wasn't for these dumb penalties. They could have easily went out there and scored 3 to 4 touchdowns against the New York Jets, but the penalties held you back. And Bo Nix needs to step up. And it's not all on Bo Nix and the players. I'm not saying that Sean Payton has to give up play calling duties, but some of the play calls just don't make sense. You're running shotgun and you're in the back of your own red zone. In the back of your own end zone, pardon me. Against the New York Jets, and they're constantly getting pressure on Bo Nix over and over again at that point in time in the game. It was a situation in the season. He runs the football 3 times just to punt the football back to the New York Jets. I just don't understand the play calling right now with Sean Payton. And traditionally, we've seen this with the Saints. We've seen this with Russell Wilson in his first year in Denver. The offense comes out to a slow start in the season, and as the season goes on, they get better. That's what happened last year. But this offense needs to be more consistent. You cannot waste this defense and the talent that you have on that side of the ball. This is a defense right now that can give Kansas City a lot of problems. The same with the Los Angeles Chargers. And you're still in it in terms of possibly winning this division. And it's not one of those situations to where Sean Payton needs to give up play calling duties. Joe Lombardi, he's your offensive coordinator. If he does give up play calling duties, it will go to someone like Davis Webb, but I highly doubt that he will. Sean Payton has a lot of pride and has a big ego as a head coach. He just needs to be better with the play calls, and his offensive line needs to be better in terms of the penalties. But Bo Nix has had some good play this year. Beside the couple of missed throws that he had against the Indianapolis Colts, he had some big-time moments in this matchup. 3 passing touchdowns, and he did have the 1 interception. In the second half, everything went to the wayside. The momentum dried out. Against the Tennessee Titans, looked terrible in this game. Had the 2 interceptions, had the 1 passing touchdown. But you still won this matchup because your defense and Bo Nix did make a crucial throw for a touchdown. Give him credit for that. Against the Cincinnati Bengals, no, the Bengals, one of the worst teams right now in football. You won this game 28-3. Bo Nix was able to go out there, get the football out quick, work within the system. They lived up the run game with R.J. Harvey and the same with J.K. Dobbins. Against the Philadelphia Eagles, you were down in this matchup and you came all the way back in the second half. Bo Nix deserves a lot of credit. 242 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 24 of 39. He just needs to be more consistent with the deep balls, and he's starting to clean that up. In the run game here with J.K. Dobbins, they've definitely found something. He was a very impactful player last year with the Los Angeles Chargers. They're 6th in rushing offense, so that'll definitely get things going into the right direction. Run this offense through J.K. Dobbins and the same with R.J. Harvey. Cortland Sutton, he's a true number 1, but he's a weird number 1 wide receiver. He's not going to constantly go out there and get open with his route running. He's a big physical wide receiver. So you have to put the football up there in 50-50 situations. The ball placement has to be elite, especially in the back of the red zone. And we've seen him have some good moments in the past with Russell Wilson. If Bo Nix can just get there with that touch and that accuracy in the red zone, that could be automatic. And we've seen moments of that. Evan Ingram has had some good moments with the Denver Broncos. You want to see him be more consistent. Troy Franklin, I think that there's a role with him as a number 3 wide receiver. I really like Marvin Mims as a deep threat. Some games he'll go out there, he may have 80 yards receiving. He may have the one big play that goes for a receiving touchdown. He just needs to be more consistent, and that has been the case in his career. I still miss Devon Vile on this roster. He's now with the New Orleans Saints. Vile had some good moments last year in Denver, but this offense, they're still figuring some things out. And if I'm Denver, I will look around the NFL and see if you could bring in someone at the wide receiving position. You don't need this true number 1 to go out there and completely dominate, but if you could find a number 2, number 3 wide receiver that can win those routes underneath, that can work within this system with Sean Payton, you'll definitely have something there to take that pressure off of Bo Nix. And the offensive line talent is going to be very interesting to see how they look without Ben Powers, who is an IR. But you still have Garrett Bowles, Luke Weidenberg at the center position. Quinn Miners is a very good right guard, and Mike McGlinchey. They have quietly built a very good offensive line over the last few years. But I am concerned about Ben Powers, who did hurt his biceps. Seems like he's not going to return this season. And you have Alex at the left guard position. And I'm not saying that the Denver Broncos are going to go out there and be this massive Super Bowl contender as the season goes on. They just need their offense, passing-wise, to be better. Whether that is Sean Payton giving up play calling duties, but Bo Nix definitely has to step up. I hold every single quarterback in the Sean Payton system to a high standard because we've seen him work with quarterbacks in the past and they turn out for the better. Look at Russell Wilson that last year in Denver. He wasn't a terrible quarterback, but he got the most out of Russell Wilson. And we've seen Bo Nix have good games, so it's not a situation to where he doesn't have it in him. He just needs to be more consistent and make the right read. And I know Sean Payton has been tough on quarterbacks. You hear Drew Brees say this. The same with Jameis Winston. He'll throw a lot at you at once. But that's why you have the offseason to get ready for this. This is why you have training camp. But the run game, I really like R.J. Harvey mixed in with J.K. Dobbins. This defense, they're Super Bowl caliber. We always hear about the Houston Texans having this great defense. The Steelers, they can get to the passer on a consistent basis. Right now, rating-wise, the Cleveland Browns, they're up there. But as a complete defense, the Denver Broncos have it. Pass rushers, linebackers in coverage, safeties on the back end, cornerbacks, mixing in zone with man. They're just a tremendous bunch right now, and they have the coaching with Vance Joseph. So it really comes down to the play calling of Sean Payton and the consistency with Bo Nix. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about the Denver Broncos moving forward? And do you view them as a legit threat in the AFC? And what's crazy to me is how open the NFL is right now. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles. They were supposed to be this top-tier team in the NFC. They have shown some major weaknesses over the last couple of weeks. And the Denver Broncos were the first team to go out there and beat them this season. You look at Kansas City. They're starting to get their groove back, but there's still a lot of question marks about that team right now. They haven't just taken that major leap, in my opinion. The Los Angeles Chargers, they came out to a hot start. The offensive line started to deal with some injuries. They lost 2 games. Then they just won a game against the Miami Dolphins. So there's not just one team that just blatantly stands out. So a team like the Denver Broncos, you can take advantage of that. Go out there and make that statement. And this is a team, I mentioned all the offensive problems that they have right now, and yet you're still 4-2 in the season. But if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.